How do you know if something is really cold or really hot? In this video, we're going to have a look at the Kaiweets KTI W01, because that's what it's called, which is a thermal camera on the infrared spectrum. And yeah, it's kind of neat, but we'll get to all that. I was going to start this with sort of an unboxing or something, like taking it out, but there's just this and a USB cable. That's it. It does come with this very nice carry case though, so you can put it in there, which is lovely because I kind of appreciate taking care of my equipment. But there's not much else to really go through taking out the box. So here we are. So in this video, we're going to go through all the specs, and I'm going to do some real world testing, obviously, try and show you what it can be used for. I'd love to hear your ideas of what you would use a thermal camera for as well. And then I am also going to just compare it to this, which is the Topdon 001 thermal camera, which is a smartphone accessory. So you plug it into your smartphone, which I reviewed earlier, linked there. So, but that's it. That's what we're going to do. And I think we're going to start with just figuring out all the specs on this, because there's quite a few. So before we get into actually using it, and I know I will show you all the thermal goodness, let's just go over the specs, because yeah, they're kind of important and some of it is kind of impressive, I guess. Anyway, so first of all, the display on it is a 3.2-inch display at, I got my notes here because I can't remember all of it, at 256 by 192 pixels. And now that doesn't sound that impressive. Like, we have phones with thousands of pixels, but it's not bad for thermal camera. I've looked up some of the others. The Topdon was about the same, I believe, and it is at 25 hertz refresh rate, or hertz frame rate. So that's actually pretty usable, and I'll show you that as we go through the examples and the testing. It's pretty good. It's very usable. The lens, or the gubbins, I don't know what all the technical terms are, to be honest, but it is what's called less than 50 millikelvin thermal sensitivity. And that sounds like very little, and I think it is. So I read up on it, and it's pretty standard for this range of thermal cameras to have what's called, 50 millikelvin thermal sensitivity. When you start paying more and more and getting more and more sort of commercial type stuff, they go down to like 35 millikelvins. And why this matter is that this is what makes it usable in fog and dust and smoke and things like that, those conditions. It actually makes it better the lower the number is. So 50 is not terrible, but it's not the highest either. So yeah, pretty good. It has 0.1 temperature resolution, so 12.2, 3, etc. And it runs from minus 20 degrees Celsius to 550 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit that is a much different number. And then it has a 32 gigabyte SD card, or it supports up to it, and that is for, according to Kaiweets themselves, 300,000 images storage. So I think that'll do. The images are not very big, obviously. It has a built-in, so you can't replace it, 3,500 milliamp hour battery, which is huge. That's a big battery, which means this will run for 6 to 8 hours, that's really good. That you want this if you're using this for your profession, so whatever that might be. If you're a tradie, a plumber, and a carpenter, whatever it is, whatever job you'd use it in, you want to use it all day, and you can on a single charge. And then finally, it is IP54 rated, so that is dust protected, but not completely sealed. And it is splashing of water protection. So it's not waterproof, but it'll survive the rain, right? It'll survive a dusty environment. It'll be all right. So yeah, those are all the specs. That's not bad for this device. I think it's very comparable to the other one, the Topdon that I reviewed as well, but this obviously is a handheld standalone device, so the Topdon didn't have a massive battery, nor had a handle on it. Yeah, so okay, let's do some actual real-world testing. All right, so here it is, it's on. The first thing you have to do is there's this little flap up here that protective thing that you just put up there, which is kind of neat. We want to protect the lens. And here's what it looks like. So you can see currently in this room on that wall is about 13 degrees, but for some reason that bouquet of flowers there is about, what does it say, 18 or something like that. So who knows why. But first of all, let's just go through some of the settings here. Now, it's pretty easy. It's a very one-handed operation. I don't need two hands, which is very nice. There's a menu button here. I can press that, and you can see we get the various menu components here. We have image correction, which is, we can move things. We can correct. What are we correcting? I'm actually not sure what we're correcting. Huh, that doesn't seem to do much. What am I correcting? Anyway, then we have the photos. We can look at the photos we've already taken. We can also do videos, of course. So you just enter these and you can check or you can delete. So you can see them on the screen. Then we can change the color palette. So whatever you prefer, we can go and we can choose, for example, spectrum, and then that changes it. If I go out here, you can see that now changes that to look different. So whatever you think works for you. Then we have the emissivity, I think that's how you say it, which is the reflection of heat from other surfaces. So for example, your body skin is very matte, and that has like an emissivity of about 0.98 or something, and very, very glossy metals, like polished metals, have like 0.1 or something. So you can then set it here, as far as I understand, on how much of this you want to pick up. So we can set it to very matte, which means we'll only pick up from very matte surfaces. I think that's how it works. Anyway, correct me in the comments and let me know if I got that one wrong. And then of course there's a bunch of settings. So we can do auto shutdown, that's the time to shut it down when you're not using it. We can change the brightness, we can change the language, we can change the units. So if you use Celsius, otherwise it's Fahrenheit. There's a temperature range, which means that this, yes, it goes from -20 to 550 degrees, but you have to choose high or low. So normal usage is -20 to 120 degrees Celsius, but if I were to do fireplaces or something, I would have to choose high there as well. So you have to choose that yourself. There's a time format, you can set the time. You can spot, I'm not sure what that is. Spot, so that's the middle target. Do you want that or not? As in, do you want the whole, just to scan the whole image in one go, or do you want to have like, you can aim it as a spot measurement? And of course the version. So I assume we can maybe update the firmware on this, but we'll connect it to a computer a little bit later. So those are the settings for it. So let's have a look around. So I'm going to try and do this. This is interesting doing this one-handed. But you can see here as I move around, the color palette changes to match what there is. You can see it's quite cold in that corner. There's the dog. Well, let me just re-aim here. You can see that she is much warmer there in the middle, where she is, what, 34 degrees or whatever it says, something like that, or 30 degrees. So yeah, so that's how it would, that's how you see the color palette. Now, what would you actually use this for? Well, of course, inside, well, in my world at least, it makes sense to look for holes, like holes in the house. There we go, let's just focus on it properly. So I'm going to be looking for insulation gaps. So Australian houses in general are not very well built. This one is from the 40s, and yes, we have renovated it, but we have still not got it all right. And you can see that heater's even going up there, right? So we got the heater is at what, 20, 40 degrees coming out, something like that. So I would look for something like windows. Let's go to the window here, and you can see that the window is much colder than the rest of the room. So that's sitting in what, 17 degrees or something? Oh, there's me. That's the other weird thing. See, this is the emissivity. It's reflecting me, even though it's not a camera. Anyway, it looks weird. Whereas you can see something like the curtains, which do insulate, they keep the heat, right? So we can start looking for things here. So if I look a bit up, let's just scroll up a bit here. You can see I'm looking for gaps where it might be colder, or warmer for that matter, where the heat goes out. It's a little bit, I'm not sure exactly what to look for, but you can see just behind the curtain there's actually this vent, and the heat is going out that, so it's a different color. So we can start looking for things that we want to plug, like holes in the in gaps between the ceilings or doors or whatever it might be. Let's just try and go over to the window here. I'll show you. So for example, come on, focus. See here on the window, 17 degrees or so, whereas in the room it's more like, oh, well, there's another window, bad example. There we go, 18, 19 degrees. Now the room is not particularly warm just yet, but you could also look at something like up here we have these, whatever they're called, the things in the ceiling, I forget what they're called. If there was a hole around that, it doesn't seem to be, good. That might be something we want to insulate better, or just fill a gap. But yeah, it's really useful. You can use it really, really easily to find where you need to improve your insulation, or where there's, costing you money essentially inside. So, all right, so next, I think let's go outside. So now I'm outside, and you can see it's sort of the same thing here. You can really check the outside for leaks, etc. as well. Sorry about the glare. It's a bit glary, this screen is very shiny. A matte screen would probably have been better. But you can see here that the windows, I hope you can see that, the windows and the doors are a very different color, because they're much colder, warmer rather, than the walls are outside here, because the windows here are single glazing still. Ew. But that just means that we now know that there's probably a point where the heat is going to come pouring out. So you can absolutely use it outside as well. We got some more windows over here. Oh, that's me in the camera. Wow, that is glary. There we go. Focus. So there's another window. You can see here there is a door, and you can see it's different colors because actually there's heat coming out around the sides of the door here. So yeah, you can use it outside as well. And then let's try and do something a little bit more fun, shall we? Okay. Hi, it's Thermal Lars again. If you like the channel and the video, don't forget to subscribe down below. Can you see that? It's thermal. Look at it. Woo, woo, woo. And there's also some discount codes and link if you want to buy one of these cameras, and you can also save money with thermal stuff. Then that's down below. And thank you. All right, back to the video. All right, let's try something a little bit more fun, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe you want to find someone outside. And as you can see here, there's no one here. There's no one here at all. It's just the front yard. So if I hold this up, and it focuses, there we go. You can see it's all pretty much the same temperature. 14 degrees it is outside, something like that. So can I find anyone out here in the front yard? And yes, it's glary, I apologize. But as I go down here, you can see it changes color as it gets closer to things. So now this is, you can sort of see the tree a bit more, but oh, see there, instantly. Oh, it's showing. What is that? There, you can see that there's the heat signature. Oh, it's all bonkers. But there we go. There's another heat. Oh, it's gone. Oh, there it is. See on the other side? It says it's, what, 8, 10, 20 degrees, something like that. And as we go closer, you can sort of find very scary creatures with this thing. Ah! All right, so let's have a look at this software that comes with it. Now I have hooked up the Kaiweets KTI W01. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but anyway, I've hooked it up with USB-C here using my trusty Lego cable, and that also charges the unit. That's the same way you charge it. You can hook it up to any USB-C, but now it is connected to the computer, so which means I can get to the files on it. So I have here on the screen, I have installed the ImageTools from Kaiweets. That's the software that comes with it, and you can see I have opened a photo I took of the pictures on the wall. And what you get is, at first glance, sort of rudimentary, right? So we have the image and we have the labels on it. So we have, as you get on the screen, we have the lowest temperature, the center, or where the spot is, and the highest temperature, which in this case is 22.1. Now, we can then start manipulating this a bit. So this is kind of neat, actually. So say I took this picture and I wanted to know what the edge up here was. What is the temperature of that edge of the ceiling? I can then click on this little icon here, and apologies for the tiny font, but I cannot make it bigger. I think it has something to do with this being recorded on a 4K screen. But anyway, we'll persevere. And I can then click on that bit on the photo right there. Whoop, come on, click on that. And then it'll tell me the temperature there. So obviously this is based on the, the color palette, but it's really handy. It is really handy as a post-processing tool going, oh, I took that picture, but now I'm off the site and I want to know what the temperature was of that bit. Oh, what was that? We didn't notice that. We took a picture of whatever it might be. We can go in after the fact. We'll remove that. We can also do that with a line. So from there to there, what is the highest temperature and the lowest temperature? It'll show you that. We can do the same with a square, which is very handy. So the square around here, for example, we see all what's in there. Well, the highest is 21.3. So there's multiple ways of doing post-analysis, I guess, of the image that you took. And we can use a circle as well. So those are really handy tools. We also have the whole temperature range here in the entire photo, which is 22.1 to 16.2. And then there's this bit here, which you can blend. And you can blend the real world with the thermal world, which is, the actual photo that it took. So like this. And now, no, it is still very, very low resolution photo, but it does give you an idea of what was where, because sometimes you might not be able to identify what that was that you took a photo of. So you can actually blend them and see what's behind it. Very neat. We can change the palette on here. So obviously that's like doing it on the device itself. We can change it after the fact, so we can have white instead, if you think that sort of ghost world looks better. We can change the temperature, or the temperature degrees unit, Celsius, Fahrenheit, or Kelvin. So I kind of like Kelvin because now the highest is 295 degrees. It's hot. I'm just going to change it back to that spectrum. I kind of like that. And then we can show and hide. It says characteristics. It is just the labels that it put on when you took the photo. So like those. So you can actually hide everything if you don't need those either. And then we have the file name, the emissivity, it's a hard word, that we used for this particular photo. So again, we've set the emissivity based on material. So the manual actually comes with a whole range of values that you should use and set the device to, depending on which material it is that you're measuring. So yeah, it's a tricky one to get right in my head. We have maximum, minimum, center, and of course the capture time. Now I was hoping there'll be a bit more around having firmware updates, but no, there's nothing else that I can do here apart from taking the files off. And yes, I could record videos as well with the device, but I cannot edit those in here. So the videos are just for, as they are, it records. Obviously it'd be hard to replace every frame of it. It'd be quite a large file. But the images, actually this is very useful. It doesn't do a lot, this program, but it does do some very useful things for post-processing in case you need it. So yeah, that's the PC side of things. It is just a Windows app or Windows program that comes with it. Let's just do a quick comparison between the Topdon 001 and the Kaiweets KTI W01. It's great names, I can't stop saying them, because they are quite different. Now they do the same thing, they're both thermal imaging cameras, but yeah, I thought, I didn't know what I was thinking. I didn't know what I would think about each, to be honest, in relation to each other, but I think my conclusion is that both are useful. I'm not saying that just to be diplomatic, but let me explain. So first, the Topdon. It's very small, it's very easy to have with you. It's almost like a travel pack. I don't know why you would travel with it, but you can, right? It kind of fits in your pocket and it's very handy. Another thing I like about it is that it plugs into your phone, so all the images that you take are already on your phone. So if you want to email them or send them or whatever you need to do, it's already on your phone and you can back them up. It's pretty easy to start using them. Now, this though is a bit of a pain to attach, and you're holding your phone a bit odd because, and I have to take the cover off as well, as you might have seen in the other video I did, to attach it. And then I sort of have to hold it up like an odd angle, and I wouldn't use this for hours, put it that way. This is sort of a quick thing, a one job type device, pretty much. One job at a time anyway, like you wouldn't use it every day. I wouldn't. Whereas this one, ergonomically, it's super easy. You hold it really well. It's really easy to get a grip and start using it. You don't have to install an app or anything. Obviously, you don't need a phone to run it. It is just a standalone device, and the fact that it goes all day, 6 to 8 hours of battery life, is just fantastic. And it's not very heavy. Initially, I thought, oh, it's a bit flimsy, but no, that's a good thing. If it was really heavy, you wouldn't use it for hours and hours, right? So it's actually not very heavy. I don't know what it weighs. I would say 400 grams, twice a smartphone, maybe a little bit less. It's not very heavy at all. And the fact that everything is in one, it is very simple to use. I quite like it, and I could see myself use this every day if I was in a job that would require that. I would, on a day-to-day basis, if I was using renovations here and doing it, I would probably use this, I think, just because it feels more like a tool for the job. This feels more like an add-on. But let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments which one appeals more to you as a use case I've sort of missed out on. But I don't think that one necessarily is better than the other. I think they're for very different audiences, actually. Yeah, so go check out the other video that I did on the Topdon 001 as well, and you can see my full review on how that works compared to this. So final thoughts, I quite like it. I quite like it. I like that it's lightweight. I like that it does one job and it does it quite well. It is not the most detailed or most finessed device because, you know, it's 50 millikelvin, not 35. It goes to minus 20 degrees, not minus 40, but it's very usable. And for the price, which is roughly $300 Australian, US-ish, depending on which site you use, it's not bad value. And if you're interested in one, go and use the link below and you might even get a bit of discount and you support the channel and we both win. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I like it. There's not much else to say. It's relatively simple. It does a thing and it does it quite well. So let me know, again, as always, if you have questions, put them down below in the comments. And then if you like this content and you would like to see more, please subscribe. That is the best way that you can help the channel succeed and continue to do these kind of videos. Now, next week, a bit of a monster video is going to come out in more ways than one. But yeah, I look forward to that one and I hope I see you there. So thanks for watching. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe and like and stuff because Jordan's watching.
Hi. No.
As always, if you like the video or the content, what am I saying? If you're a fan of hair, so I just do this.
Look ridiculous.